Hello, everyone. The topic of this presentation is social work, family planning, and reproductive choice. And I feel that this is a fairly inclusive topic. It covers a variety of topics in this umbrella. Most societies and families have their beliefs around this topic. Therefore, we often have not just our own beliefs, but emotions related to this topic. And this topic covers issues ranging from rape, intimate partner violence, infertility, insemination, egg donation, fertility, treatment, conception, pregnancy, adoption during pregnancy, abortion, adoption, premature birth, and I would say even transgender issues and health might be included in this topic. So let me provide you an overview of what we'll be covering today through this lecture. So first, I will be talking about the importance of using the human behavior and social environment lens. I will also be talking about the personal and professional conflict of values related to this topic. And finally, I will be talking about information we should be familiar with as social workers and what information we should try to be up to date on. So again, you are, I'm sure, aware that family planning and reproductive choice invokes strong emotions, and they invoke a strong emotion in your clients that are experiencing these realities. And also among their families and friends, they have strong feelings and beliefs about what they are facing. But we are not exempt either as social workers. We are not exempt from feeling and having personal values that we hold to related to this issue. So that's why it is important that we start where we are or where the client is and use a human behavior and social environmental lens, which leads us to do a biopsychosocial assessment. So again, we have our own values, which may influence what we feel, but what we need to consider is that we need to consider and give priority to the client and meet the client where the client is. So we need to consider their uniqueness, their client history, gender, race, ethnicity, culture, spirituality, physical, emotional health, socioeconomic status, and developmental stage or ability where they are at. So we need to make sure that we keep in mind all of these things and how they shape who the client is and where they are at right now. And it is their reality after all, and it is their decision. We also need to understand, social workers, that we are bounded by the MSW Code of Ethics. So let me read this. It says, the value, by the way, the value that I'm going to focus on is the one on worth and dignity of the person. This value reads as follows. Social workers respect or should respect inherent dignity and worth of the client. Social workers should treat each person in a caring and respectful fashion, mindful of the client's differences in cultural and ethnic diversity. Social workers should promote the client's socially responsible determination, and the social workers should promote the client's capacity to change to address their own needs. So again, I wanted to include this because with the HIPSI lens, or the human behavior and social environmental factors in the Code of Ethics, these things frame the logic for self-determination, and particularly for the right for reproductive choice And I feel that, you know, a lot of times early social workers tend to have their personal values come up when it comes to this topic. So now let me provide you some recommendations on how you can address some of the personal and professional conflict that may come up regarding this issue. So it is very important for you to seek mentorship so that you don't force your belief upon your clients. And it is also very important for you to explore your personal values and beliefs and try to find out, do they come from your religion and where you grew up from, and how may they affect the way you work with your clients who have different perspectives from you. So if you have been sheltered from some of these issues, it may be a bit shocking to have clients who have very different backgrounds from you regarding their morality, their beliefs on morality. And what we need to keep in mind is that we need to avoid being gatekeepers and having a judgmental attitude. So if we know of, you know, many resources, services, and agencies and supports for our clients, it is not our social work job to gatekeep them or keep them away from seeking those services or resources. Those services are there because people are eligible for them and they need them. And it is not for us to judge whether they are good or bad. And we tend to do this in social work with our clients all the time. We have reactions and we do less for clients. And when we do that, it is a breach of ethics. So we need to avoid breaching ethics because it is highly problematic, because we're working or you're working to get your license and you can breach ethics and lose your license. And equally important it is for you to avoid the stress caused by violating your own conscience. So if you are particularly adverse to one of these topics, can you realistically choose a field where it's not a concern? So for example, in the field of geriatrics, this is not a major concern for a lot of the clients. But you also need to work on managing your personal beliefs and values. You need to manage those to ensure your client's dignity and worth. And I would suggest that right now, especially when you are students, it is the time for you to take the time to explore your beliefs and values and consider how you might manage those before you go out and you are presented with the situation. Because again, you need to ensure your client's dignity, worth, and self-determination. So finally here, I have some information that I again recommend that you should familiarize yourself and keep current. So again, if you are going to work in a broad therapeutic setting or medical social work or a primary healthcare setting, or if you are going to work in any of the areas that where these issues may be common, such as again, the ones here, you should become familiar with those topics, including birth control, STIs, HIV, abortion, adoption, transgender and healthcare, and pregnancy and addiction. And in addition to becoming familiar with these topics, you need to ensure that you keep current because the information may change all the time. So for example, if the information about birth control may change all the time, the information is there in the textbook, but again, new methods of birth control may come up, and basic information and statistics that may be helpful when you are working with clients, you should also keep up with those. So for example, if you're working with young adults that may not believe in safe sex, it is necessary maybe for you to share local statistics about the prevalence of STIs It is also important for you to keep up with state policy when you're working on topics such as abortion or adoption, or also pregnancy and addiction. You need to keep up with services provided by the agencies, for example, for transgender individuals in healthcare, because you need to know what services and resources are available for different populations, because services may be discontinued all the time. You need to know what the costs are for services and what insurances do they take. So the more information you have on the front end to give to your client, they are more likely to be confident to go and seek those services. And again, like I said, services and agencies change all the time. So for example, some agencies may no longer exist, and you don't want to send your clients to an empty building. Again, these are some recommendations. Here are some references that may also be helpful to you based on what I presented today. Okay, thank you so much. I hope you have a great week and that this lecture was helpful.